Good morning, everybody. I wanted to talk to you today about this concept that is holding so much of us back in our lives. And it's this concept of lack of acceptance, lack of oneness, and the blame shame cycle, I guess is probably the best way to put it. And this happens to so many people in the process of becoming conscious. And I like to kind of refer to it as the section of our lives that we have as our conscious incompetence. So it's all very well and good if we have parts of ourselves that don't work well. Like, for example, if we're very argumentative, if we are very negative about our lives, if we're creating behaviors and creating a lifestyle that isn't serving us in whatever way, whether our family members might be a bit scared or worried about us, if we've got a habit, like a health habit or a functional issue in our life that we're really struggling with. If we're not consciously aware of it, well, then who cares, right? Ultimately, the only people that we're affecting then are the people around us. And then most of the time they might just go, oh, well, that's how that person is, and it doesn't matter, right? And if that's how you're living your life and you feel very happy and comfortable in that, mainly because you're not consciously aware of it, well, then more power to you. And that's really awesome. What I'm talking about, though, is when we start to become consciously aware of these behaviors, whatever these behaviors might be, and we recognize that they don't work and that there might be something wrong with us. Okay. What is it about me that needs to be negative about XYZ? Which part of me is constantly creating conflict with people? Oh my goodness, I'm responsible for this. This is me. I did this. I created this life. I did that a thing to my partner, my friend, my lover, my daughter, my mother, whoever it is. I did that. And then, oh my goodness, I did that. And the awareness, the clunk, that kind of really heavy kind of energy that comes in can actually bring us into like a shame spiral, which is these constant negative thoughts that kind of literally kind of take us around this rim and this kind of downward negative spiral of thoughts and blame and frustration and oh my goodness, and how could I have done this, and where am I going with this, and why have I done this to myself? And this constant kind of circling the drain stuff is actually quite scary at times, because that can put us into an exceptionally negative state. And it really, really does a very big thing, not in a good way, in that it stops us from changing it. We cannot ever change a situation if we are blaming and shaming and getting frustrated with ourselves about it. And this is why this area of conscious incompetence can be so dangerous, because unless we can pull ourselves out of it, we never leave it. And we can't change, and things will never get better. So the negativity, the frustration, the argumentative, the health kind of sabotaging, whatever it is that we're doing, cannot change if we don't first fully accept it for what it is and fully accept ourselves, even though we're in it. Right. And the reason this is because there are 3 rules to healing. I've said this before, I'll say it a million more times. There are 3 universal laws required. The first one is acceptance. The second one is forgiveness, and the third one is love. But the first one, being acceptance and oneness, requires us to get out of judgment and blame. Because unless we get out of judgment and blame, we stay circling that drain of emotions, those negative emotions that just pull us down and keep us in a state where we kind of constantly feel like we're helpless and unable to change it, but kind of there's nothing we can do. We feel stuck. There is a stuckness with that. Oh my goodness, I just keep causing a fight with my partner. Why am I doing that? Why do I keep doing that? I don't want to do that anymore. It just doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve us. Why do I keep doing that? And that constant kind of blame shame thing is actually exceptionally frustrating. But the first step to getting out of it is starting to step out of judgment, step out of this blame and shame cycle, and start to get really curious, start to detach, take a step back and go, wow, That's really interesting. The curiosity can kick in and I can step away from it being all my fault and oh my goodness, what's wrong with me? And we can step into, oh, I did that. I wonder why I did that. That's really interesting. Curiosity, because it helps you to take a step back, right? Why did I behave like that? That's really interesting that I keep creating this argument with my partner, or I keep creating this negativity with my daughter, or whatever it might be, right? That consciousness, that awareness, that detachment is huge. And then once we can fully accept ourselves and recognize and understand that in the truest sense, it's not our fault. In the truest sense, if we could consciously choose our situation, would we choose that? And if the answer is no, which 99.9% of the time, let's be honest, is no, then it is not something that we need to keep blaming ourselves for. This is an unconscious belief. This is an unconscious behavior. This is not something that we're choosing. And if we can fully grasp this as a concept, and it's such a powerful concept, but if we can fully grasp this as a concept, we can start to embody that sense of acceptance and oneness of ourselves, the situation, and what we've created. Even if we've created it, it doesn't mean that we need to blame and shame forever. It doesn't help. We bring in that beautiful universal law of oneness and acceptance. We fully accept ourselves in this situation exactly as we're showing up. And that, my friends, is the first step in changing the behavior. It's a really powerful and important step. And I hope that this kind of resonates and you can understand, but the oneness, the acceptance is the key out of this. It is the beginning step in that conscious incompetence phase of, oh my goodness, look at my life. And it helps us to be empowered to recognize that we can do it differently. So the universal law of oneness is very powerful. I really hope it's helpful. Just remember, get curious, start to take a bit of a step back, start to become aware of, oh, wow, I'm doing this, but I didn't choose it. And I fully accept myself at this situation. And up until now, this didn't work for me. And now I have the power to change it. I hope that was helpful. Have a wonderful week. I will see you next week.